Inside all of us is a code that specifies our design and our specific function. So my wife bought me a smartwatch a few years ago for Christmas. But after I opened it up, I actually thought it was broken. I couldn't even get it to turn on. And it wasn't until I opened the owner's manual until I quickly realized how the watch was meant to function. Turns out that I had to download an app on my phone and pair the watch to an app using Bluetooth before it would even turn on and function the way that it was intended. What I thought was broken was just not being used properly. And for many of us, and that's how we feel about our lives, that something's broken or missing. Man, if we only had an owner's manual, right, that could reveal to us our intended function so that we can make sure that we're doing what we were meant to do and walking down the right path that'll lead us to the treasure that we seek. Well, come to find out, we do. In the 1860s, a Swiss chemist by the name of Johann Friedrich Meisker caught the first glimpse of this owner's manual. It then took some of the brightest minds on earth another 140 years to bring it into full view. This owner's manual that we all have living within us is our genetic code. It's our DNA. It was discovered that all living things have DNA within them that specifies their structure or design and also their function. Let me say that again. Inside all of us is a code that specifies our design and our specific function. This code is so complex and carries such vast information that if we were to sit down and read it live, it would take us 31 years reading it day and night if we never stopped. And this vast, intelligent, and unique code not only lives inside of you, but lives within each of the 37.2 trillion cells within your body, carrying with it the blueprint of your design and instructions for your intended function. And at first, this is almost hard to comprehend, right? But if you think about it, it's really no different from the code that lives within the video games and websites and apps on our phones. And I've been in technology for a good part of my professional life, and I've led teams that have built these types of applications. I mean, we first think through what we want the product to do, function, and what we want it to look like, blueprint. And then we write the code and bring it to life. Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, Minecraft, they all have underlying code that dictates their design and function. The difference is that the code that we create for these applications is rudimentary compared to the vast intelligence within our own. And so the obvious question becomes, who wrote it? I mean, we've never found a blueprint for a design that wasn't written by somebody. You can let that one sink in for a minute. When we observe living things in their natural state, it's actually easy to discern their specified functions. The magic behind DNA-driven functions are that they're innate, meaning they don't need to be taught. They naturally make themselves known to the living beings in which they live. It's our instincts or our intuition. Take a baby squirrel, for example. And a baby squirrel can be orphaned after birth, yet when the leaves begin to fall and the weather begins to get cooler outside, that squirrel will instinctively begin to store nuts for the winter. Its instincts tell it to do so, and it obeys. And if it didn't, it would set a course for a pretty dreadful existence and possibly starve to death. Or if a baby duck is orphaned at birth, when winter rolls around, you guessed it, it's going to instinctively fly south. Why? Its instincts, its inner guide tells it to, and it obeys. Its instincts are giving it instructions for its own benefit, and the examples are limitless. Every living being has specific instructions written into their code to help lead them down the right paths and do the things that are best for them. And it's the same for you and for me. The problem that I suffered for a big part of my life is I wasn't in tune with my internal instructions because I was too busy being tuned in to what other people thought of me. I was tuned into making money, climbing professional and social ladders, and keeping up with the culture around me. You can fast forward to today, and most of us spend our time being tuned into our iPhones or video games, computers and TVs. And when we're tuned into Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, Netflix, SportsCenter, CNN, Fox News, and all the rest, it's almost impossible to be tuned into the instructions that are being given to us.
Sound speeding on episode 2.
And in this next video, what we're going to see is that in the same way that we can easily see the intended functions of other species by viewing them in their natural state, but we can also look back at our own species to the very first civilizations before the addictions of technology and ambition and fame and fortune, and easily see the same innate behaviors of humans around the world playing out in harmony. Just as ducks around the world were all flying south for the winter.